Hey y'all, it's Mitch with Guitar Town Guns. Today's video is going to be called Why Close Enough Is Not Enough. First thing I want to do is, I got two targets here, and one is your standard IDPA configuration, and the other is one that I've adapted for my students. Now in IDPA, you have penalties. You want to be shooting for here, you want to be shooting for here, so there's -0 here and -0 on a headshot. In this particular area it's a -1, in this particular area it's a -3. If you do not hit the silhouette, it is a -5. And what this amounts to is, if it's a -1, it's added a ½ second on to your time. This would be a 1.5 seconds added on to your time. And this would be 2.5 seconds added on to your time during a time drill for IDPA. Now it's incredibly hard to look at it quickly and say, okay, this was my time and then I've got this, I just think it's kind of idiotic. I don't understand why they do it that way, so I don't do it that way. Now for my students, what I've done is I've just modified that a little. We're always going for center mass unless we are purposely going for a headshot. If we hit here, that's +1 added onto your time. If you hit here, that's +2 added onto your time, and this is seconds. +3 if you have a failure to neutralize. And then basically if you run a drill and it's 10 seconds and you've got 1 + 1 here, that makes that 11 seconds. And that's basically how it works. It's a lot easier to figure out, and it's just kind of the way that I've done it to make things easier on myself, and I've adapted. Now, in the courses I've taken at Tactical Response, they have cardboard targets, steel targets, and all kinds of other targets, but basically they have a cardboard target which basically has a hard box and a brain box. So if your instructor has told you to put 4 shots into the heart box and you hit 1, 2, 3, and then 4, you need to keep shooting. If you are told to, put 3 shots into the brain box and you go 1, 2, and this one ends up here, you have to keep shooting. And what they're concentrating on is trying to get you to develop muscle memory to get these shots here, and you don't get off the line and you don't get done with the drill until you have actually made your shots. It's very good. With my students, I just basically shoot for, center mass, and that's pretty much it. I've got a cheat sheet here. So what we're talking about is mastering center mass, going for this. And if you got a 5-shot drill or whatever, and you've got 3 here and here and here and here, and you got a shot here and you got a shot here and you got a shot here, if that's not good enough for you, or if you think that's good enough, and a lot of people says, well, I hit him in the belly and he's gonna die and this and that and the other thing, here's what you need to think about. Some experts have said that during a gunfight you are only going to retain 40% of your skill level. So if you have trained to accept that a few shots here, here, and here is good enough, your shot placement is going to expand. Thereby you could possibly hit an innocent bystander. If you have trained and only accepted the heart box or the brain box, chances are your shot placement will expand only just a little. It's about training. So what we're talking about is developing muscle memory and the subconscious mind, that keep in mind that under stress you're going to do better because you have repeated things over and over and over again and trained to the fact where you are not going to hit an innocent bystander. Now let's talk a second about headshots. Now, in my opinion, the headshot is a bold statement. Okay? You better make damn sure that you can make this shot. And you're going to make damn sure you can make this shot under stress. Because if you miss, there's a very good chance you could hit an innocent bystander. So you train for that. You train for that. But if you do not have to make the headshot, by all means, do not take it. If you miss, we all know what's going to happen if you miss and you hit an innocent bystander. But what we're talking about here, again, is mastering center mass. Okay? And like I said, how we develop that is muscle memory and through repetition and through dry practice and all of these other things. So, you know, let's talk about it. Speed versus accuracy. Speed is no substitute for accuracy. Jaeger says that it's not the first shot that counts, it's the first hit. And hopefully, if you have trained enough, it'll be you that makes that first shot and not your opponent. Okay, so what's next? Alright, so speed will eventually come. Now, how we usually work this in my classes is, you know, when everyone is making their shots, that's great. Let's try to pick up the pace a little. Alright? So you pick up the pace and you increase your speed just a little bit. And once you start getting outside of center mass, you back it off a little. Eventually, you should be able to draw from a holster within a second, second and a quarter, and put a number of shots in here. You know, and it is possible, but if you're going wild all over the place, you need to back it off a little. If you're making all of your shots, you need to pick up the pace a little. So, that's pretty much it. What you want to do is basically, you know, how do you accomplish this? And let me get back to something I forgot about. Repetition, dry practice. Firing from reset. I'm going to do a video later on firing from the trigger reset. And a lot of people think it's bullshit. It's like, you'll never remember that during a gunfight. But if you have trained your subconscious mind to fire from the reset, you will do it. Slow down your rate of fire. Like I said, slow down your rate of fire. Get your shots in center mass until you're making all your shots. Pick up your pace a little, like I said before. Also, remember that, you know, what you want to do is you want to shoot for perfection and accept just a little less. And remember that amateurs train until they get it right. Professionals train until they can't get it wrong. Please like and subscribe. Stay tuned.